Greetings, this is Randant07 Studios, and today I will be teaching you how to create a plane shaped like the word Jeb in Kerbal Space Program. So let's get started. We start out in the spaceplane hangar, and we are going to use as our pod a Probodidyne Octu, right here. First thing that we're going to attach are some batteries to keep it powered. And now we'll put some fuel tanks on. And this, and then we're going to add Juno, is going to be our first thruster assembly. We're going to add another assembly as well, it just won't have a probe core. Alright, so here's our assembly. The next thing that we do is construct the wing, the main word. So let's scroll down. And we are going to start out with this Type B wing connector. Actually, let's change the toggle snap. Alright. And we just add an A. And all that we're really doing is just spelling out, at this point, the letter E. We adjust that. Alright, we add another one. I mean, it's really not all that complicated. You just, at this stage, you just basically spell out what you want to fly. Then we'll strut it. So basically we'll put struts between everything, stabilize it, of course, and then we will attempt to actually make it flyable by adding additional thrusters and moving that thruster around to get the center of mass and center of lift and center of thrust all aligned as they should be. We are going to offset this next piece while pressing shift, which allows us to offset it further than we normally be able to. You see, if we release shift, like right then, you see that it just kind of snaps back to the E. So this will be the backbone of our J, and offsetting using shift, of course, lets us make it seem like the letters are detached. In reality, we're going to strut them together to make sure that they're stable. So we just build up the rest of the J, using the same technique as we did for the E. Okay, now that we're done with the J, we are going to build the B. We're going to use basically the same techniques that we did while building the J and the E. Again, we offset it using shift. And then we basically just build on to what we offset. Fairly simple. So yeah. We will do something slightly different here though. Instead of just using wing connector A and B components, we're also going to use a small delta wing on parts of the B. That'll make it slightly more legible. So we just get our small delta wing and we attach it as we've been attaching all the other parts. No real difference. So yeah, so we just build the B. We're going to duplicate this bit right here with Alt-click just to save us some time. And there we go. We finished it. So yeah, this is it. So now we need to strut it. And that, of course, ensures that it remains stable. So we put struts everywhere, between letters, inside letters, to ensure that it is as close to a rigid body as we can make it. Add some here. Now that we've added the struts we'll need, we can move on to the next phase of the construction. So now we've got to make sure that it can actually fly. With that in mind, we turn on the center of mass, center of thrust, and aerodynamic overlay. We need to arrange them so that they're more or less in line with the center of mass in front of the center of lift. We also need to ensure that the center of lift is tilted backwards slightly. I have already begun to add another thruster that will hopefully be able to adjust the center of thrust and the center of mass. So we add fuel tanks to this new thruster, and after we add the fuel tanks, we will get a Juno, and then we will get another intake. And after we finish constructing the thruster, we will just rearrange it until everything lines up as it should. We do that and find a more or less stable arrangement right here. This is pretty close. Alright, that's pretty decent. Alright, so we've got that with the center of lift behind the center of mass and everything in a line. And we tip it backwards slightly so that the center of lift will be tipped backwards. We'll rotate this thruster a little so that the two thrusters will be more or less in line. Although as we do that, we notice that something is a bit wrong with the thrust should not be pointing up, so we rotate it and that makes it work right. So yeah, that looks mostly right. So we adjust the thruster. And this still looks pretty good, actually. Alright. So yeah, that's a good position for the thruster, actually. We're gonna have to strut it in, because it's kind of on top of the wing. So we do that. And now we need landing gear. So we go over here. And what we want we need smaller landing gear in the back to ensure that we have a good angle of attack on liftoff. So we place small landing gear without using symmetry mode, because who knows what would happen if we tried symmetry mode. So you get the medium landing gear. We are also going to add solar panels, just in case we need to power the probe core when the engines aren't running. So we just add a couple. Let's look at the engineer's report. See nothing on the engineer's report. Okay, well, let's name it. We can call it Jeb Wordcraft, and we'll describe it in a really juvenile way. Let's see, what can we do? Oh yeah, okay. That should be sufficiently juvenile and weird. Alright, so we save it. And we launch. So we throttle up and we put SAS on, and there are no control surfaces. So we've got to put those on. Let's do that. So we use control surfaces in essentially the same way that you would use them on a normal plane, just slightly different, and adapted to the fact that the whole thing is basically one long asymmetrical wing. We try to make them as symmetrical as we can, however. So we apply all the standard controls, more or less. Get them, and duplicate them and stuff. We we tweak this position right here. And once we do that, we save and we're ready to launch. Alright, so let's try this again. We throttle up, put SAS on, activate the engines, and go. So far it's actually moving forward, so that's good. Let's see when it'll lift off the ground. Any moment now. And we've started. So far, pretty stable. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, this is pretty stable. No obvious veering to the left or right. So yeah, there you go. That's really all you have to do to create a craft shaped like a word. It's pretty simple. You just build a wing the way you want it, and then you adjust things on the craft itself, like thrusters, to ensure that the wing becomes flyable. You basically design around the wing rather than design the wing for the craft. So yeah, that's all there is to it. This has been Random07 Studios, and thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that stuff. Thank you.